What's up, IU fans? You made it to the weekend, and your Indiana Hoosiers, to the surprise of nobody listening to us, unless you're an outsider, is in the
That's
top 12 in college football.
mm,
Matt and I had said this team was good enough to win double-digit games this year. The games we were concerned about were Oregon and Penn State on the road. We had a bit of a discussion about this Iowa game coming up, but neither of us were all too nervous about facing Illinois at home. As good as Illinois is, it was just one of those situations where Memorial Stadium, a game where Kurt Cignetti needed a home game against a good team to make a stand, to send a message. He certainly did that. He certainly did that. And Indiana won by 53, and it's on to Iowa. We said it was put up or shut up time, and Kurt Cignetti and Indiana definitely put up on Saturday night. So Matt and I are gonna complete our recap of the Illinois win, dig into all the different aspects of this Iowa matchup, which to me, just as Kurt Cignetti said, is going to be a much more difficult challenge than the last one. We're going to do all this and more here on episode 352 of the Hoosier Sound, or the official podcast of Indiana HQ. Recording this edition of the Hoosier Sound on Friday, September 26, 2025. I'm your host, Nithin Christian. Here with me is my normal co-host, Matt Lukens. Matt, 63 to 10. You were watching this at what, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 in the morning over in China. What is your final recap of this 63 to 10 message sending win over the Illinois Fighting Illini?
yeah. I was watching the game, started off watching the game. I woke up, took a shower, got a coffee,
Sure.
started watching the game. Then I had to go to work.
Sure.
I had to teach some kids. So I gave my worst lesson of all time because I spent all lesson sitting at my desk instead of up teaching at the class with my phone in the corner on the whole time, muted but right underneath the computer screen, so no one can tell what the heck I'm doing.
Hmm.
But so I watched the whole game. I would say that win against Illinois last Saturday was among the most euphoric
Yeah.
feelings I have felt as a
Yeah.
sports fan. Like, and I have seen my NFL team not
Yeah.
win one,
Yeah, I
but
know.
two
Yeah,
Super
sure,
Bowls in my
sure you have.
lifetime.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
watched
sure
the
you have.
Heat win
Oh,
three
yeah, yeah.
NBA
That's kind of
championships.
nice, isn't it?
I've watched the Cubs win a World
Yeah. Okay, we
Series,
share that. I like that. That was fun.
and I haven't watched the Flyers do anything. But and Arsenal breaks my heart. And
Hey,
IU
The
never.
Flyers were in the Stanley Cup final in 2010. I remember that.
I will say, as an IU sports fan, it's up there with the watch shot. The feeling of the watch shot. I
Yeah,
don't think it can surpass. Nothing can surpass that until we win a national championship. That is
sure.
the pinnacle of IU sports
But
fandom.
even that would be
Until
like a different feeling, right? Like that's like a different
yes,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The complete and utter euphoria of watching this
Yeah.
team walk up and down and back up and down the field on Illinois, on a team in a fan base, by the way, that has chirped us online
Yep.
in
A lot of yapping.
incessantly since the schedule was announced and since they beat South Carolina, basically going, I can't wait to be this year's Indiana. I can't wait to go into Indiana and beat them. I can't wait to show how much of a fraud Cignetti is. The list goes on
Whoops.
and on. The things that they said to us,
Whoops.
and we made them look so freaking stupid that again among one of my most fulfilling nights, or I guess mornings for me,
Yep.
of being an IU fan and just a sports fan in general. And I'm sure a lot of you share the same perspective as me. Like, I on this very podcast last week sat here and told you that we were going to blow them out.
Yeah, you did. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
And I only said that out of pure confidence in Coach Sig. That's the only because we only win games if we blow people out. Like, let's be honest. Like, this is that is what happens.
Yeah, it's true. I guess the
A
exceptions there
majority of the time.
is
The
like, yeah,
exception
it's
would be Michigan,
yep, that was
I
it in
guess,
Washington. I sort of remember
and
that one being close a little.
Washington was close for a bit, but then we kind of pulled away at the end. Yeah, I guess Michigan would be the kind of the exception to that,
Yeah.
but still, the majority of the games that we have won have been blowouts, and so for IU to go out there and execute in the way in which they did, highly, highly impressive. I mean, Coach Sig is one of, if not the best hires I have seen in any sport in a very, 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 very long time. Very long time. Again, because he was a guy that, while it was gaining a lot of national praise
Sure.
at JMU, still was not targeted by high level jobs and
Nope.
goes to an Indiana job that was in the dumps from
Yeah,
where Tom Allen took it
it
and
was.
where he left it. Right? There was some highs in there. Let's not get it wrong. I still love Tom Allen to death.
But it was
But
an awful situation. Yeah.
he rode that thing until it bottomed out. And to come in and immediately turn around in a year now, basically a year and a half, where IU's beating top 10 teams at home,
Yeah.
selling out Memorial
Yeah.
Stadium, becoming national talk, like a national talking point.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought that Indiana football would ever be a national talking point
Yeah.
other than when we get destroyed by Ohio State,
Well, that's the
Michigan, or
thing.
Penn State,
Yeah. Or media days,
right?
right? Like a
Or
quote.
media days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Here
or
we
the Big
are.
Ten commissioner kicking us out of the Big Ten title game in 2020. Um,
Hmm.
it's not for yeah, this is a big picture. This is a big picture win, not a little picture win, right? Like beating Illinois
Yes.
like that was a big picture thing because you get the crowd shots that'll be on all the, you know, recruiting postcards and everything forever, or even for non-football players for like future classes of Indiana students. You get the punt block moment that'll be, you know, searched on YouTube and TikTok forever. You get
Yeah.
the point that you made about how Indiana's going to for a full week is the subject of this is the team of the week. This is watch out Fernando Mendoza, first overall pick, Heisman Trophy favorite,
He's a favorite for the
the
Heisman.
favorite. And look, Kinnick might jolt that a little bit, but he's the favorite for a full week. And that was even before John Mateer got hurt, and it's definitely after John Mateer got hurt. It's a big picture win, right? Indiana's going to recruit against Illinois for portal guys, for high schoolers.
Now and forever. Yeah. Just
As
because
long
of
as
location,
as long as
right?
it's
Yeah.
Cignetti versus Bielema, Indiana's going to get their pick.
Yeah.
At least relative to Illinois and Purdue. I mean, you know, there's just that's just the way it is when Indiana's outscored Illinois
That's
and
just the
Purdue
way it is. All right. Yeah.
130 to 17 or whatever over the last two games. And so look, um, it's a big picture win. And that's my main takeaway, right? Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, NFL draft wide receivers, no question about it. Oh wow, did you watch D'Angelo Pons? Well, he's got to be on your radar. This is what the great Big Ten teams and SEC teams get every season, right? There's a week where we talk about Ohio State as a national talking point and just complimenting their players, complimenting their team, complimenting their coach. We did that to a degree after their win over Texas to start the season. All right, they do
Yeah.
it with Michigan, we do it with Alabama, we do it with Georgia, we do it with LSU when they are at their best. We just never had done that with Indiana before, and beating Illinois 63 to 10 is what will, you know, created that is what created that end product. And again, it was absolutely beautiful to watch on TV. The scenery, the visuals were amazing.
I
And
can't imagine being there in person, Nathan.
oh, no, it's
I
crazy.
talked about it being a euphoric moment for me watching it on TV 15 bazillion miles away. You could have dug a hole from Memorial Stadium and ended up where I was, on the
Yeah.
other side of the earth. And to be there in person, I'm sure
Yeah.
was a moment that no Hoosier fan will ever forget, and I hope they don't for a long time.
No, I hope they don't either. I definitely won't. I mean, you and I have both been to home games where it's been pin drop stuff. I mean, you could literally not hear anyone else say
I
anything.
I mean I've been there for when IU blew a 30
Uh,
damn near 30 point lead at home
yeah,
to Rutgers.
yeah, that was
I've been
rough.
there, okay? But all of us,
Yeah,
by the way, all of us Indiana fans now,
we've
I
been there.
think
We've been there.
that's what that's what I was about to say. The big story to me
Yeah.
about this IU win wasn't the fact that IU won in the fashion that they did.
Hmm.
It was more about the national narrative
Yep. 100%.
of is IU like a real deal? Like, are they really here? And all IU fans going, we don't care. Like, we don't care if we're here or not. And it's actually a bit insulting for us because we've been through hell
Everything.
and back again, right?
Everything.
And not even just
Everything.
back again. We've been through hell for nothing, really.
Yep.
Historically, if you go back and you look at the history, I don't need to give you guys a history lesson.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
watching
yeah,
this. It's
yeah,
an
yeah.
IU podcast.
Right.
You understand this. So what are we doing here? Like what is national media's point of view? That's always been our outlook on it. I mean, my outlook certainly, which is it's like, oh, is IU here? Are they a real thing? We don't care. But it was so, again, go back to the word euphoric.
Yeah.
It was so it was really like the story coming full circle,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
On Saturday, where finally, not only do we get this, we beat a ranked team under
Yep.
Cignetti, whatever, camel, hippo, whatever, whatever it is, off our back,
Hmm.
right? Um, but then also, like, we proved to people that we're like really a thing, even though
Yep.
we said we didn't care. Right?
Well,
Like,
yeah, that's what I would say. Like
we
people
don't need
know.
your approval.
Yeah, people
Now we don't care about your approval anyways, but
exactly.
it's nice to have it.
But
Right? It's
Indiana football,
nice to be here.
I think IU fans are like Indiana football is already a thing. You're already a thing when you go 11-1 and you make the college football playoff.
Exactly. But nobody wanted to hear that. Now we go and beat an overrated top 10 Illinois team at home by a bazillion. Now people want to be like, well, this team might be better than last year. But we told you this all summer. You guys were just like, that team wasn't that good. Like, so these people, they talk themselves in
Yep,
circles.
yep.
It's insanity
Goalpost
as I
moving,
talk in circles. But
goalpost move,
yeah.
a lot of moving goalposts, this, that, whatever. You say overrated Illinois. I think they were an injured Illinois team, no question about it. And I think if they do get a few
Mm,
defensive backs into the lineup once again, I think they make this one against USC pretty close.
I hope they do
Yeah.
that. What I'm trying to say here is I think they were overrated from the jump, even if they're healthy.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
they beat a South Carolina team that people thought were going to be world beaters. I'm looking at them now; they got two losses, right?
A lot of the metrics say Old Dominion's better than Duke. Duke is Old Dominion in a Power 5 uniform, Power 4 uniform. Um,
Oh, oh, Old Dominion, do they have a second loss yet?
no, they very much don't. And
They could be very alive for that G5 spot.
gonna mention something else about Old Dominion coming up. But look,
Okay.
man, I think it's high time we fast forwarded. Cignetti was ready to rock and roll to talk about Iowa as early as Saturday post game. Because we all know this game is going to be a major test. This is the biggest between the ears test I think IU has had to face, you know, outside of the CFP game. It's just when you play a
Yeah.
team like Ohio State on the road, you sort of, built up to that. You saw it on the schedule ahead of time. You were ramping up the entire season for that moment. Now I
Yes.
feel like you come off of this, intoxicating victory over Illinois, where you're just like, wow, everything went well. Surratt was awesome. Cooper was awesome. Kobe Martin is gonna win the Heisman in 2027. Mendoza is the first
Right.
overall
Yeah.
pick,
Yeah.
And now it's road trip to Kinnick, capacity crowd, and they want to do to Indiana what Indiana did to Illinois. So
Yes.
let's talk about how realistic all of this is. Iowa, unranked, goes to Bloomington. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Hosts Indiana.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Hosts Indiana at Kinnick. Saturday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern on Peacock. It is a spread that is fluctuating between 7.5, 8.5 points. I think this will probably close at 8, 8.5, something of that sort. The over-under is at 48.5. So the books are saying this should be a final score of something like 28-20 in favor of Indiana. Of course, IU's 4-0. Iowa is 3-1. Their loss was on the road to Iowa State in a disgusting game to watch. But outside of that Iowa State game, and you can weight that game how much you want, but since that Iowa State game, let's put it that way, this Iowa offense has kind of figured some things out. They seem to have turned a corner, 42 against UMass, more impressively, 38 on the road against Rutgers. To be fair, 7 of those points were a kick return
Defense.
touchdown. A
Yeah.
kick return touchdown. There was a short field at the end of the game that helped them score 7 offensive points. There was a punt return that I believe led to 3 or 7 in the third quarter.
But that's
But
Iowa football.
it's all
That's
part of the
Iowa
game. It's all
football.
part of the game.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, Mark Gronowski had his best game of the season. Iowa's quarterback had his best game of the season in their 10-point win at Rutgers. There is a banged up backfield there. Iowa does like to run the ball, but Jazzy Patterson is injured. So, Kamari Moulton is going to be their starting running back. Matt and I are talking about how the receivers are shaky, but their offensive line and their defensive line are excellent. Their back end on defense definitely asks a lot of questions more than answers them. I don't know if they have an NFL player in their linebacker or in their secondary, their linebacker core or
Mm.
their secondary. This Iowa team's a little bit
Right.
different, Matt. It's a little bit different than the one we're accustomed to seeing. The last time we played them was in 2021, a game that we won't mention too much here for obvious reasons. But this Iowa
Mm.
team is a little different. They look comfortable throwing the ball. They're a little bit shaky on defense. Rutgers put up 400 total yards on them, and Ethan Kaliakmanis looked very good throwing it. 330
Mm.
passing yards on 40 attempts. 7.5 yards an attempt there. What is your headline as far as Iowa is concerned? Is this just about the environment and the atmosphere causing Indiana problems? Or are there specific parts of this Iowa team that IU fans should really pay attention to going into Saturday afternoon?
This is a hard question for me because you always want to because with Iowa we always want to be like let's focus on the defense. Let's focus on the defense, right? But with this Iowa defense, people have been able to move the ball a little bit on them. They don't look the same as they have been. And I think they played pretty okay against Iowa State, but they're nothing really to write home about. They don't have this ball hawking secondary that they always have. They always have some monster on the defensive line or somebody in the linebacker core that's, a potential All-American. I don't see that either. I would say the strength of this Iowa team is their offensive line
Yeah,
where
100%.
they might have the best offensive line in the history of college football.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
correct.
if you are a person that believes in PFF rankings, which I think
I
a
do.
lot of people are,
Yeah.
I think their analytics are good. For the most part, some people throw you out the minute you bring up PFF, which I think is ridiculous. Ant being one of them. The minute you bring up PFF with Ant, he's like, "Blah." But anyways. As like
That
bringing
was
up
a
Ken Palm around him.
that was a
But
great impression.
bleh. um, but no, I genuinely like PFF for their stuff. So I mean, Iowa's left tackle, left guard, center, and right guard are all number 1 PFF graded for their position. Their right tackle is number 2
Yeah.
for each
And
one
by
of
the
their
way,
positions.
I dug into it more. They're pretty good run blocking. They're pretty good pass
And
blocking.
pass blocking.
They're pretty
Yeah.
good, against bad
Pretty
teams. They're pretty good against,
good against
at
good
Iowa State,
teams.
at Rutgers, and their left tackle's a sophomore. I mean, he's only going to get
Exactly.
better.
Yeah, so they have monsters up front. Now, with all of that being said, Indiana got a good defensive line, by the way. Like
100%.
unbelievable. I was looking at some stats this morning on the Indiana defense, and I think there was a fascinating stat for me that I saw was that IU has like I think it's like most disruptive plays, and there was like a
Yep.
bar graph, right?
Yep.
Not a bar graph, but like a
Scatter
what's the
plot.
graph? I'm looking a
Plot.
scatter plot.
Yeah. I know
And
which one you're
IU
talking about.
was
Yeah.
significantly skewed towards
Yep.
defensive line.
Yep. Causing havoc, creating disruption.
Can creating disruptions, yes, and they were by far and away the outlier for defensive line. They were like
Yes.
the bar graph is here, right? You all
Yes.
can see me. IU, like the best of the normal people
Yeah.
that are usually good is like Ohio State is here. IU's over here,
Yeah.
like down over here, and then
Way out.
the bottom part here is defensive line, and the top this part, the vertical part is
Is
secondary.
yeah,
I
secondary havoc,
use
yeah.
like down over
Yeah.
here, right? On the scatter plot.
And the funny thing is,
So
of course, I don't know how they grade D'Angelo Pons blocking a punt for the biggest touchdown of the Illinois game. It's secondary
but
causing that,
that goes on
that's
this
extra credit bonus for the defensive backs. We pay
which
attention.
which by the way, special teams, shout out special teams.
Yeah.
They don't get any love because they're the third phase
Yeah.
of the football team, and they play the least amount of snaps. And under Kurt Cignetti,
Yep.
have we had one major special teams
That Ohio
kerfuffle?
State game, it was bad. The James Evans blocked
Okay,
punt
but to be fair, a lot of things went bad in that Ohio State game. Not that was not
100%.
on special teams.
Yes.
When we're winning games or even they weren't bad against Notre Dame, I don't think. Like I think they played very consistent outside of that Ohio State game last year. But
Yeah.
again, nobody played well in that Ohio State game last year, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it's an important phase in this game because Iowa's going to be very, very effective in that aspect of the game. But no, I mean 100%. This special teams group deserves credit. Grant Kane, the coordinator there, an under discussed person on this Indiana coaching staff that is
Anyways,
so incredibly elite. But yeah, it's going to be an important aspect of the game, but creating havoc, causing disruption, it's
creating
going to be a
havoc.
big part of this game. Huge.
That's what I was to finish my point. I got on a side tangent. I was talking about the defensive line, then I got to explaining scatter plots to people. Um, to finish my point, the defensive line has been creating a majority of the havoc for this team. I think given the fact that Iowa's Jesus, I almost said Iowa's strength lies in their offensive line. Defensive line going to have their hardest game of the season
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
against Iowa,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to see another
Huge
offensive
matchup.
line. This is a big matchup. We need the secondary and a newly minted scholarship player in Lewis Moore and the rest of his buddies
That's right. That's right.
to create some of that havoc, pick up some of that slack the defensive line is going to be given up because again, it's just this is a hard ask for any defensive line in the country to go out against Iowa and produce at the level that they've been producing previously, given that how good this Iowa offensive line really is.
Absolutely. On that note, I have a stat or two that I think will blow everyone's mind. And I haven't heard this in a minute. Listening to other podcasts. I might have missed it. If it's been talked about before, then so be it. I will drop one or two of those stats on the topic you just discussed after we talk about who won the week this past week
Ah,
in IU sports. And there's a lot to pick from. How about Palmer Alt, the Indiana soccer striker, getting a hat trick at Penn State? Of course, Indiana
hey,
did lose at Michigan State, which is a little bit of a
oh,
disappointment. But even after that result, all of IU men's soccer goals are still in front of them as far as making the College Cup and winning the Big Ten.
yeah.
Um,
Hopefully winning national championship number 8.
hey, Q48. Um, How about the volleyball team? They had a tricky loss at Western Kentucky, a Western Kentucky team that is either in the top 25 or close to it. But then IU bounced back, went to Northwestern, won the Big Ten opener. That game was on Big Ten Network, by the way, saw a good chunk of that. Good job by Steve Aird getting this thing up and running. And I think tomorrow they host Washington. It should be a readout. After yeah, I believe it's a Saturday night home game. So you watch Indiana beat Iowa in the afternoon and then head over to Wilkinson for the volleyball game. Kyle Schwarber doing huge things with the Phillies.
Yep, goat.
56 home runs, I think. Insane
Insanity, bro.
hitting
He
and
could
and
he
and,
could hit 60.
and no cheap ones, like they're moonshots. Good for the camera. And hey, another baseball shout out to McCade Brown, a pitcher. They used to play at
Yep.
Indiana, starting for the Colorado Rockies now. And Tanner Gordon, as well as McCade Brown, might win, you know, Rockies MVPs for the 2025 season because
Well, I mean,
they've both been pretty impressive. Especially Tanner Gordon has eaten a lot of innings for Colorado, but McCade Brown struck out 10 in the start recently, and that sets an Indiana record for most
yeah.
strikeouts.
like, My reaction to that, by the way, I'd like to clarify. I'm not. I think these guys are awesome, and
Right.
I'm glad they're having great. I'm more like anything that's good happening to the Rockies needs to be taken with a grain of salt because it is the Rockies. But
Or it needs to be celebrated because not much good is happening to the Rockies. And
fair
and
enough.
look, you go out there and you do what you do, like McCade Brown going out and striking out 10 against I believe it was against Seattle. And the Mariners are going to be in the playoffs. So,
Mm.
McCade Brown going out there doing his thing. All these players that we've mentioned unquestionably won the week this past week in IU sports, and McCade Brown did it in 5 innings. But yeah, he set an Indiana record for most strikeouts in a major league appearance by a former Hoosier. So pretty awesome to see that take place. Plenty of other stuff exciting. Of course, Indiana football won the week as well. So just wanted to touch on all of those. But folks, if you enjoy our show, important reminder, leave us a review. Tell a friend. Share our links. Your support really helps us grow this podcast and reach more passionate IU fans such as yourself. And you can find us on social media at Indiana HQ, as well as at the Hoosier Sound. So, Matt, you
Mm.
were talking about how Indiana, so far through 4 weeks, has been excellent at creating disruption and causing
At
havoc
everything, but yes.
at everything. But yeah, the eliteness of the group up front, the Mikhail Kamara, Tyreek Tucker, Jose Wheeler, Kellen Wyatt,
Mm.
Isaiah Jones, Mario
Isaiah Jones has been so
Landino,
good, bro. Isaiah Jones has been
uh,
so good.
Elijah Hardy in off the blitz.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple guys, but
they know who they are.
you all know who you are. Stephen Daly, going back to the
Yeah.
Indiana State game. So Mark Gronowski, he is third worst in the country at holding on to the football. His time to
Mm.
throw is something upwards of 3.3 seconds through 4 games this season. He holds on to the ball. He invites a lot of pressure by holding on to the ball. Makes sense, right?
Mm.
You know what the number 37 represents, Matt? The number 37. It's It's a prime number. Prime
Would that
number.
be the number of flavors at Baskin Robbins?
It's not. Now it's a 31, isn't it? I think 31.
I think it's 31.
Yeah. 37 is Mark Gronowski's PFF grade when he's under pressure.
That's not good, by the way, folks.
So, you
That's
know,
not 37th in the country. That's 37 out of like
100.
100. Yeah, that's failing, but significantly failing.
You know what the number, what is it here? 91 represents, Matt?
Would that be Fernando Mendoza's grade for being under
No,
pressure?
it's Mark Gronowski's grade when he's clean, when he's not pressured.
Oh, so he's an A plus. I mean, he's an A minus student
He's a Heisman
when
contender when he's clean. He is Gunner Keel, Dusty Keel when he's under pressure.
Dusty Keel is rude. That's rude. But yeah, you're right. He's not performing very well when he's under pressure, though.
Why? Why are we Dusty Keel was with us when times were not good. Dusty Keel fought
He
through some things. He is
Dusty Keel was bad. Dusty
hey.
Keel.
Why? This is unnecessary. This is totally
I mean,
he is Danny O'Neal. Is that too
where are
harsh?
you pulling these names from? Where
So
are you
Danny
pulling
O'Neal
these?
is the current Wisconsin quarterback.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, which is by the way, Wisconsin's so how is Wisconsin
he's
so
Johnny
bad?
Langan. Mark
That's
Gronowski is
rude.
Johnny Langan, Rutgers legend.
Johnny Lang was so bad.
Rutgers legend Johnny Langan when he's under pressure. So getting Gronowski's face. And by the way, you asked about Fernando Mendoza, 63 grade under pressure, 92 grade when clean. So it's not as bad. And it's natural to see a big drop off when you're under pressure, which is why people like to create pressure. But Gronowski, what was I saying? 37? Yeah, like yikes. Interestingly,
37 is really bad.
Interestingly, Mendoza against the Blitz, 77. Gronowski against the Blitz, 45.
That's
So
really
blitz
bad.
him, pressure him. I don't care if you do it with four. I don't care if you do it with seven. I don't care if you do it with nine. The thing is, one of the things
9.
we were going to cross here coming up, this Iowa receiver group is terrible. The matchup I am most confident with in this game as it relates to an edge for Indiana is IU's defensive backs against Iowa's wide receivers.
Yeah.
One guy, D'Angelo Pons might be able to cover all three Iowa receivers on the same play. I want to see him try at least once.
I don't think I want to see him try cover 3 guys. I'm good.
Fine. Pons and Amari
D'Angelo
Farrell.
Pons
Pons and
to make
Lewis
fun of
Moore.
D'Angelo Pons fun of D'Angelo Pons for last week because let's make some comedy after the one mistake he had all game. But
Cignetti
he
said
really
it's on
tried.
Farrell. Cignetti said it was on the safety.
That's no, that's actually certainly true because the safety lets the
Yeah.
wide receiver go over him, which the safety is the whole job of a safety is to let the keep the guy in
Man.
front of you.
I mean, Cignetti took a couple of shots at Indiana's safeties since beating Illinois 63 to 10. And he talked about it Saturday post game, and then he talked about it Monday during the press conference. And I'm like, damn, bro, like Lewis Moore is gonna be okay. This is Belichickian stuff right there from
I
Sig.
mean, we do have college Bill Belichick. Not no, sorry. I have to preface that because there's actually really college Bill Belichick. We have the college
Man,
version of NFL Bill Belichick.
oh man. But look,
Hopefully without
hey,
the cheating. But
hey, look, Brian Haynes does have a penchant for blitzing. He's shown it through 4 weeks this season, and I want to see more of
yeah,
it.
he
That's the
blitzes.
bottom line.
Yeah.
I want to see more of it. I want to see us throwing the kitchen sink at Mark Gronowski. If that means Iowa spins the tables on us and throws an 80-yard touchdown, I'm okay giving up two of those or three of those before changing our defensive game plan. I'm not kidding. That
Yeah.
I
No,
was
I
kidding
agree.
about D'Angelo Pons covering three receivers with one guy. I was not joking about us putting numbers in Mark Gronowski's face. He takes forever to get rid of the ball. And of course, in a year where Aiden Fisher has yet to make his big, noticeable, standout play to this point.
They're
He's done a lot of the
okay.
captaincy leadership stuff. Him as a spy on Gronowski who can run the ball. I'm curious to see Bryant Haynes use that as a weapon as well.
For all the people that point out that Aiden Fisher's not doing anything, I would like you to go watch the game
Yeah, he's doing
because
so many intangible things.
not only doing so much. Most of the time, the defense runs in the opposite direction of wherever he's lined up on the field. That
It's like a
is
shutdown
there.
linebacker.
It's like the same thing where like D'Angelo Ponce hasn't had an interception this season yet, and he hasn't been targeted. Like the teams are actively avoiding going after our best players because they know how good they are. Now, Mikhail Kamara could use to step up a little bit or more, but we saw a little bit of that on Saturday. He
Right.
didn't have a bad game, but we're just still waiting for him to have that coming out party that we've been expecting him to
Yeah.
have this season, being one of the best, defensive linemen in the entire country. Just haven't seen that yet out of him.
Yeah, no,
But
exactly. And that's the same kind of commentary there with Fisher. It's like the season's long. For Indiana, we're thinking what, 16 games? Is that the number now? I think.
yeah.
I think it's
Well, you
16,
got to think Big Ten championship,
right? So
and
that's
then
13. You get the bye.
that's 13. Get the bye, then 3 games for a national
Yeah, 16,
championship.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool,
16.
cool,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
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 yeah.
super.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Fisher or Elijah Hardy playing that spiral on Gronowski is something I'm looking forward to as well. I said earlier I would talk about Old Dominion later in this podcast. I think Iowa's offense is kind of Old Dominion times three. Just as far as you have a scrambly quarterback,
Yeah,
dual threat.
yeah,
You could see designed runs. The passing game leaves a lot to be desired. They take a
yeah,
lot of pride in their blocking, a lot of pride in offensive line play. I'm not saying they're the same as Old Dominion. I'm saying you take the Monarchs, you square it, or you put it in a classic Big Ten, program. And the stuff you learned about Colton Joseph in week one against Old Dominion is going to be much more useful than anything you did preparing for Illinois,
yeah.
especially their offense. And one of the things Matt and I talked about in the build up to the season was like of the four key games on Indiana's schedule, which we're talking about home Illinois and the three big road games, including at Iowa, at Oregon, at Penn State. We said obviously, Indiana going 2-2 in these games will go a long way in helping make the playoff. 3-1 would be awesome. I obviously already have one win on the board. But Matt and I were saying how these four games will not all be won the same way. Your preparation, your adjustments for each of these four games will be so different. And Matt, like the blueprint, the game plan for Iowa is going to be so, so different than the one against Illinois. I mean, what unique things do you think Cignetti, Shanahan, and Haynes pull out of their playbook for this Iowa game that you didn't see for Illinois? And do you think it's going to be a challenge for this Cignetti coaching staff to? This is not something you get in the group of five. Back-to-back quality opponents just like this, where you have big crowds, big environments. What sort of unique stuff do you think Cignetti, Shanahan, Haynes pull out of the playbook for this Iowa game?
I'll actually, I'm gonna counter your question and say I don't think they pull anything out. I think they just do exactly what they did against Old
Man, I don't
Dominion.
see it that way.
I think they do exactly what they did against Old Dominion, except with a little bit of more spice.
Yeah,
Just like we saw in that Illinois game, right? Especially on offense.
sure.
I don't think they don't hold them back. I am I'm serious. I think they're holding some stuff back still. I
Really?
really think there is. I know we just beat a top 10 team 56-10
Man.
or 63-10, sorry. They just beat a top 10 team 63-10. However, that being said, I still think there's another gear this team can go at. I know I think Surratt can be used more. I think Omar Cooper doesn't get nearly as much
Yeah.
touches. I think we haven't seen Hemby break one yet. I think there's some
Ooh.
explosiveness there in the run game we haven't seen. Mendoza really hasn't, handled the ball too much. I mean, he's made some big plays with his legs,
Yeah.
but not nearly as much as he can. Um, and then you add on that the defense really hasn't forced a ton of turnovers, outside of the Illinois game. Um, and we expect them to win the turnover battle every single game that they play in a
Yeah.
Kurt Cignetti team because we just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And the defense is always ball hawking. So I think there's a whole other level this team can go to, and I think they're saving some stuff for that Oregon game because they know they got to win one of these two road games if they're going to make the playoffs. They have to. They absolutely have to. So,
Yeah.
I still think there's some stuff left in the back rooms in Memorial Stadium, and
Man.
I don't think they're going to be used against this Iowa team because I don't like this Iowa team. I know some of the statistics
Wow.
are like that. I know some of the
So,
statistics are like
yeah.
they're better, but I don't see it.
I mean,
I
let's talk about that
really
more because
really don't
like
see it.
this is why I asked that question earlier. Is this mostly about, is this game mostly about Kirk Ferentz and the Kinnick crowd and the Iowa Hawkeyes program and their culture? Is that it? Is it anything to do with the actual guys that Iowa has? Maybe outs like their offensive line we talked about. I just feel like this is so, you know what this feels like to me? You know what this really feels like to me? This feels like, especially during like the Archie Miller era, how teams talked about playing Indiana basketball at Assembly Hall.
That is the perfect analogy. Yes, because
Especially during maybe the end of Tom Crean too.
no, this is perfect Archie with Trace on the team. That's
Yeah,
what this
with
is.
Trace.
That's what this is. Trace is the offensive line.
Yeah.
The rest of the team are kind of just like,
But we're
they're
going to
there.
Assembly Hall. We're going to Kinnick. The crowd's a factor. We have to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. You're right. You know, Cignetti before has talked about pre-snap penalties. He's talked
No,
about not letting the crowd influence things.
it's very rude to call Kirk Ferentz Archie Miller.
Oh yeah, no question.
That's
That's
very
wildly
rude.
disrespectful. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Kirk Ferentz is
wildly
an awesome
disrespectful.
football coach. Yeah.
But that being said, this is a Archie Miller-esque team that Iowa has, right? One position
Right.
wildly
Super
world
offensive line.
class.
And I'll even give
World
like the
class.
defensive line is
Yeah.
also very good for Iowa. Like
Yeah.
Indiana's
Yeah.
defense was pretty good with Archie
But
Miller.
the rest of the skill positions are just mediocre at best, right?
And the running one of the two of the running backs are injured. Like useful running backs.
Yeah.
And it's
Their
like,
top running back is out now too. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's like Indiana and Cignetti's talked about the pre-snap penalties. He talked about how Indiana has brought in players from programs that haven't won as many games. He's talked about, the Stephen Daly pickup, the Khalil Benson pickup, right? You know, guys coming over from programs that haven't won a bunch of games. And now you go to a place where it's 80,000 people and you haven't played a road game this season. It just feels like Indiana's playing the situation more than they're playing the opponent.
First road game, it being at Kinnick,
Yeah. This isn't
the
Maryland.
voodoo that there,
Yeah.
and there's
It's
a
not
little bit of
Rutgers.
PTSD. There's a little bit of PTSD from the last. I don't know why I have chopsticks, but a little bit of PTSD from the last time we played there. Right? I was there. I was there. I was in the
Yeah, you were
crowd,
there.
and I hated every second of it.
Yeah.
And so again, I collectively as a fan base, we've gone into Kinnick with high expectations before, with a number in front of our team, and gotten our butts handed to us on national television. Hopefully that doesn't happen again this week. I don't think it does. I
Well,
really
because
don't. I
Indiana
think this is,
let the situation get to them in that game. And now,
and
I'll
I
be
don't.
honest, Iowa had way better players on that team in 21. Guys like Riley Moss, Dane
Yeah,
Belton, Jack Campbell.
that
We
team was
talked about their
really
defense.
good. Yeah,
Um,
that team was really good.
this personnel is not their trenches will have NFL players. Outside of
It's
that, I don't know.
this Iowa always has decent skill position players. They always have a really good running back. They always
Yes.
have DBs
Caleb
like
Johnson last year,
Caleb
Tyrone
Johnson.
Tracy.
It doesn't feel like this team has that. They don't have that same oomph that they've had in the past. And that's not to discredit Iowa as a program, but just to be like it's this specific team.
Yeah.
This team doesn't have it. They might have it next year. They were hoping to have it in the what's the safety?
Nwankpa this year? Xavier
Nwampa. There
Nwankpa?
you go.
Yeah. I think he's
When I
number
say
zero.
I was trying to say
That was
Awobi from
from
Fulham,
Arsenal. Yeah,
from
full
Arsenal, from Fulham. Yeah, yeah. I was like, no, no, no,
sure.
no. Nwampa.
Whatever.
Nwampa. I don't know
Yeah,
why they
Xavier Nwankpa.
whatever.
I
Doesn't
think
matter.
he's number zero in Iowa's secondary, the safety back there. Yeah, it's just, or maybe number one. It's just, I don't know. I mean, he might be an NFL player. We'll see. I mean, Matt, as you look at this game, what's the one thing? What's the one stat category? What's the one part of the game that you think will swing this game in Indiana's favor? You know, in the sense of, or even in Iowa's favor. Like, what's the key stat here? What's the key aspect of the game that you're paying attention to that you think will make a major difference in this contest on Saturday?
Well, okay. So we talked about how good the defensive line is for
Yeah,
Indiana. We've talked about how the defense needs to make plays.
yeah,
We've talked about how on offense, Fernando Mendoza is a Heisman frontrunner, how
yes, he
the
is.
wide receivers need to get more touches. I said how
Yeah,
Roman Hemby
yeah.
needs to be more explosive. That's where I'm going with this.
Ooh,
I think if IU can go on the road to Iowa and run the ball effectively, this game becomes so much easier. Fernando Mendoza's life becomes easier. He gets more time in the pocket to dissect the defense. We chew up more clock.
yeah.
And like, let's be honest,
Do we want to chew up
Iowa,
clock? Yeah, okay. So,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Iowa is known to chew up their own clock. You start fast and then you're
yeah,
able to run the ball.
yeah.
They cannot come back. That is they do not have the formula to do that. And then like if we start and similarly to the running, if we
Yeah.
start just as fast as we did against Illinois, it's over. It's over. This Iowa team will be unable to match IU's pace up and down the field. I don't think they're going to go out and score 66 points at Iowa. I don't think if we look up the scoreboard at the end of the game, and IU's up 35 to 10, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
It would surprise me. I will say that I like your point there about, hey, let's see if Roman Hemby can unleash a big play. Let's see if we get that Mikhail Kamara standout moment, that Aiden Fisher standout moment. I think the
Yeah.
point you made earlier is the one I'm going to bring back up to the surface, which is the turnover battle
Mm.
is one place I'm paying close attention to, especially like the key turnovers, it's like if Fernando Mendoza throws an arm punt at the end of the first half, I don't care. That's fine. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
meaningful sort of sack strips in opposing territory, talking about the picks, the interceptions. Indiana dropped two of them in the Illinois game. I think it was Devin Boykin, and I can't remember who the other one was, but there were a couple of plays there on the defensive side that should have been pick sixes, and I'm sure Brian Haynes is making his guys well aware of that. Mark Gronowski will put the ball into tight windows. He hasn't thrown an interception yet.
Mm.
He might have had one. Yeah, he has one interception, but he's had three turnover worthy plays according to PFF. Um, it's just it's not really his fault. A lot of the time, it's the receivers are taking forever to create separation, stuff like that. It's just at the end of the day, I'm paying close attention to the turnovers. The Iowa Hawkeyes defense, Matt, the Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz's defense has two takeaways this season through four games. That's it. Now, they've only turned it over twice, so credit to them for doing that. I'm not too surprised that Kirk Ferentz's team has only turned it over twice. I am surprised that they've only taken it away twice. And if Indiana can just be disciplined from a ball carrying standpoint, from a ball protection, ball security standpoint, I think that'll go a long way. The other thing I'm going to
Yeah.
pay attention to is shocker, the scoreboard is just make Iowa play from behind.
Yeah, what I said.
Yeah,
Start fast,
yeah,
right? Get ahead.
the
They're
scoreboard.
not going to be able to keep up. No.
Pay attention
Yeah.
to the scoreboard, folks.
Yeah, breaking news from
That's my main
Nithin.
point of the game. That's the thing, the what to watch for, the scoreboard. But
That's funny.
exactly as you were saying, Indiana, get out to a lead. Get out to a lead, force Iowa to play from behind. Now look, against Rutgers had a 14-7 lead. Rutgers had a fourth quarter lead. Iowa won. Credit to them. That was a very impressive win from Iowa going into a pretty tough Rutgers environment and on night game. Like it was kind of a bad schedule spot for Iowa in the sense that 9 out of 10 times Iowa Rutgers is what at noon? It's at 3:30. And
Yeah.
they put that thing on a Friday night and it was a blackout and Rutgers really got up for that game and Iowa did a great job coming out with a 10
Mm.
point win. I paid close attention to that. I took notice of that. And look,
I mean, it is Rutgers, but
that's
I
yeah,
get what you're
yeah.
saying.
And
Yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah.
the way the game went, it's like one of those things where yeah, Rutgers had a 14-7 lead. Rutgers had a fourth quarter lead and Iowa still made it work, man. And they won by 10 and you tip your cap. And I'm sure Cignetti and the team are noticing those things. So Matt and I will predict this game, talk about other Big Ten contests coming up in just a sec. But first, it's time for our social media shout out. And folks, again, a reminder. If you enjoy our show, leave us a review, tell a friend, share our links. That kind of support really helps us grow this podcast. You can find us at Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Indiana HQ and at the Hoosier Sound. Man, on Instagram, we're not Indiana HQ, but what are we?
Indiana.HQ.
You
You're
can
welcome.
find us there. Matt, as we talked about, the sports books have this one as Indiana -8, something like a 28-20 final score from Kinnick. The Bill Connolly S&P Plus model has this 30-21 in favor of Indiana, giving Indiana a 72% chance of winning. You've said if the scoreboard says 35-10 Indiana, you would not be surprised. At the end of the day, man, who do you think wins this game and by how much?
Oh, I use winning this game. Just like I told you last week, I use winning this game. I use winning this game. 31-10. Book it.
Not concerned about Kinnick, not concerned about 52
I
and
hate
7,
the I hate those people.
52 and
I
7
hate
Mark
I
Granovsky.
I I have a special there's a special place not in my heart for Iowa fans. I don't like those people. The last time I went there, I had a terrible time. They were awful to me, and I want bad things to happen to them. And I hope that the 31-10 is the start of that. And they think they can redeem themselves by waving at sick children. That doesn't help you, okay? Putting makeup on an ugly face doesn't help. Take that, you
Hmm.
fake Midwesterners.
All right. Well, that there have been a couple of scarring losses at Kinnick in recent times.
I don't
The
like that
Tyler
place.
the Tyler Sash game, I think that was in '09.
Yeah.
That
I
was
didn't
really
watch that,
my
but I know what you're saying.
as an
Yeah.
undergrad, that was my welcome to IU football moment. Because Indiana goes to Kinnick, it's a noon game, I think ESPN 2, and I think it was 28 to 7, 35 to 7. Indiana had the lead. And then, of course, the 2021 game. But all that said, I do have Indiana winning. I do have Indiana winning. I think the situation is going to present problems. I think the environment, I think the atmosphere, I think the first road game, I think Kirk Ferentz. Like, Matt, where would you put Kirk Ferentz in the Big Ten current 2025 Big Ten football coach power rankings? Top
Oh
four?
man.
Top five? I think you have to say like
Um,
Ryan Day and Kurt Cignetti are at the top, and Dan Lanning, of course. Sorry, so top three.
Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, Kurt, Coach Sig. I think I'd put him comfortably at four.
Right? Like I'm looking at Lincoln Riley, I think has to prove a lot, including winning at Illinois on Saturday.
Brett might even be up there too, but I think he's at
mm,
five.
yeah, you can talk about Bielema or Ferentz 4.554. Franklin,
No, I think I don't get me started on James Franklin.
I
James Franklin
don't
got a
think
great
so.
team. Don't get me started, bro.
Matt
I
Rule, I
think
think, has to win more games to prove himself.
no, Matt Rule certainly has to win way more games than
Shiano has to win more games to
Shiano's
prove himself.
way more.
Fickle
Shiano's
is on the hot seat. So yeah, like
Fickle
fourth,
on the hot
fifth,
seat. Fickle's on volcanic
volcano seat.
lava.
Yeah, he's on volcano seat. Yeah, 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 yeah. The buyout. It's the buyout. It's the Tom Allen conversation all over again.
Yeah.
Um, I do have Indiana winning this game. I think this game goes over. Um, 31, 34,
Hey,
34,
okay.
34, 27. Indiana.
I just don't see this Iowa offense scoring 27 points.
So, okay, fair enough.
I think my 10 points that I said the 31-10, like seven of those points are going to be a special teams return touchdown because their returner's
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
That's my point. I think Iowa gets a defensive or special teams touchdown in this game. That's like
Yeah.
my bold,
Yeah.
whatever, bold out of left field prediction. I mean, it might
Yeah.
come in a game where Iowa loses by 30, but you know, I think Iowa's defense or special teams finds a way to score once in this game. Hopefully it's when the game is out of the question or whatever. Like, that's what I think. That's my bold prediction. Do you have a bold prediction in this game, Matt? A player who steps up unexpectedly, something stat wise, anything bold as far as a prediction from your end?
Hemby, three rushing touchdowns.
Ooh, man, that would be fun. I like Roman Hemby a lot. I really, really
He's
think
good.
he's going to do something big. Whether it's this game, the Oregon game, the Penn State game.
It's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
coming. It's coming. I don't know when
yeah,
it is, but it's coming.
yeah. Indiana led that Tyler Sash game 21-7, it looks like. And then 24-14 going into the fourth. And yeah, it got nasty real quick. Um Matt, let's talk about our Big Ten picks of the week. Um we both have Indiana winning this game. You have Indiana covering. I don't. You have Indiana, Iowa going under. I have it going over. There are five other Big Ten matchups on the slate this weekend. Our friends in Champaign host USC. That's another game involving ranked teams. Ohio State goes to Washington in what should be an absolute fireworks game that runs simultaneously to IU Iowa. And then the primetime
Hmm.
game I know we're all fired up for. The best primetime game this weekend. It's not Alabama, Georgia. It is Oregon, Penn State in Happy Valley.
Yep.
Should be absolutely electric. Matt, as usual, we like to give out upset picks, point spread picks, over unders for this week across the Big Ten. What stands out to you? What are your one or two Big Ten picks of the week this upcoming weekend?
Alrighty. So I've been actually pretty good at these, I think. Um, Looking back on it. So I think my lock of the week, bet it, go to sleep, feel happy about it, and never have to worry about it ever again, is Northwestern favored 6.5 against UCLA at home. Uh, I think that is absolutely disrespectful to Northwestern because UCLA is an absolute dumpster fire. They are awful. They might be among the worst Power 5 teams I've seen in a very long time. They're really, really bad. like
Yeah.
really, really, really bad. So give me the Wolf Pack to cover. Did I just say
Wildcats? The Wildcats.
Wildcats? I
Yeah.
said Wolf Pack. I was thinking of NC State for some reason. No, whatever. Doesn't matter. Give me the Wildcats to cover there, 6.5.
Mhm.
My upset pick of the week, in a very hopeful upset. I actually have two of them. I have Illinois beating USC at home.
Hey, okay.
And my surprise one of the week is I have Washington beating Ohio
Ooh,
State. And here's
that
why.
would be wild. Okay.
Here's
Just for the
why. I think
narrative.
this
It's not that
this
it's realistic. It's just the discourse.
this this Washington team is good, and people just don't understand it, but they're good.
They
They're
were good
good on
last
both
year.
sides. They're good last year too. They're good on both sides of the ball. Demont Williams is awesome, awesome. He's such a good player. And Ohio State,
Denzel Boston, Jonah Coleman.
Ohio State hasn't played
Oh, wow.
anyone yet.
I thought
I
that was
think
only an
Tech.
Indiana problem.
I think Texas is really bad. And then to put it on like the cherry on top of things, or
Who's better, Illinois
Texas is
or
not really
Texas?
bad.
Illinois or Texas? Neutral field. Who wins?
I think it's Texas 'cause I think Texas defense
I
is
think so too.
significantly better than
By
anything
like
Illinois has.
30 or
But
6 or something. Yeah.
yeah, but I think Texas's offense is atrocious. And that's all because of Archie, or Arch, may I say? Well, yeah, actually,
No, well,
it
technically,
is all
yeah.
because yeah, technically it is also because of Archie. But no, I think on the road, Washington's, Husky Stadium is one of the
Yeah.
hardest places to play in the entire country. For your first road start as a starter for Julian Sayed against a team again that everybody they got a chip on their shoulder because they should at least be receiving votes.
Yeah.
Votes.
Yeah.
Somebody vote for these people. The top 25. Washington's good. And they're playing Ohio State at home. At least hype them up a little bit. They're getting zero votes, nothing. They're not getting any respect at all. Give
Yeah,
me
it's crazy.
Washington.
It's
Give me
crazy.
Washington to cover. If we're betting, I like
And
Washington to just upset them straight up.
If Washington wins that game, I mean, I don't want to play the schedule game too much, but like if Washington beats Ohio State, are they favored at Michigan mid-October? I don't think they're favored. It might be like a 3 to 6 point underdog type of situation. Man, their
Number one team
schedule,
going on the road. Number one team going on the road with
their
a first year starter.
their schedule is
I
not all that intimidating or imposing. And then and if
no.
they put themselves in a position where they're 10-1 and they host Oregon to end the season, like that feels like an extra credit game. If you win, great. If you don't, well, okay. But Oregon also coming to Washington, if the Huskies are 10-1, is going to be the craziest college football atmosphere. And that's on a weekend where you have Ohio State, Michigan. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Indiana at Iowa is running at the same time as Ohio State at Washington, and it feels like the same type of game, right? A top
I
12
agree.
team going on the road, tough environment, first road game with the quarterback that hasn't played a road game like this before. It's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, kind of fascinating to sort of track these games in real time. First quarter, second
Mm,
quarter, how does it look? What's
mm.
going on? Who makes the adjustments? Where does it go? I'm gonna take Oregon to beat Penn State straight
Heck,
up. Three, it's Oregon plus 3.5. Just
I mean,
you can
Penn
take
State
this.
just don't win these games,
You can
bro.
take
They
the
just
spread if you
don't.
want, but like Oregon is the most impressive Big Ten team for me since the start of the season. Like
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions about Oregon coming into the year, and they have answered every single one of them loudly. Um, and yeah, I mean, look, Penn State will probably start hot for sure, but it's a 60-minute game, and if Oregon cranks off a touchdown or two to create some nerves and tension in that building, I think think
That'd
that'll
be the
help.
most impressive win of the year, and no one's going to take that away from them.
Yeah.
Not only just beating Penn State in Happy Valley is a hard task on itself, but beating a whiteout
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
is about as hard as it gets in the sport.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to take Minnesota to cover the 5 that they're getting right now. Um,
Against Rutgers.
against Rutgers, that game in Minneapolis. This is, there are a couple of spots like this on the schedule that are a bit weird across college football. So Minnesota hosts Rutgers. Minnesota coming off a bye after an awful loss at California
Hmm.
that I watched way too much of a couple Saturdays ago. That was that was the true like DGen viewing experience. Pac-12 after dark vibes, no question about it. Um, Cal looked really good in that game, but Minnesota had a bye, and now they get Rutgers. What
Yep.
makes it an interesting schedule spot is that Rutgers just played an intense, grueling, 60-minute emotional game against Iowa.
It's Iowa. Yeah.
They lost, and now they got to get on a bus, get on a plane to Minneapolis, and
I hope they're not busing to Minneapolis. That is a
team
terrible
team
drive.
bonding, team bonding. And I just think, by the way, I said it's a similar spot in college football. Texas A&M Auburn. I guess Auburn at Texas A&M is something similar this week, right? A&M big
Yeah.
crazy win over Notre Dame, coming off a bye now. They get to reset, refocus. Auburn grueling 60-minute game at Oklahoma last week, and now they're 6.5 point underdogs at Texas A&M. Like I want Texas A&M to cover that 6.5, whatever you get there. I would hold off. It's a full 7, but if you can get A&M -6, 6.5, I like that. And this Minnesota -5. This just feels like this, PJ Fleck in his whatever now, sixth, fifth, seventh year. I don't care where it's at, but he's a veteran coach. He knows what he's doing. Coming off a bye, he'll make adjustments. Rutgers is just kind of sleepwalk through this game, I think. And
Hmm.
Eighth and Cal Managed revenge game though, so that'll be fun. Um, any other picks, Matt, across the top 25 across college football? If not, go for it. It's your final thoughts here on this Friday. Plenty of fun top 25 matchups. So if you do have any other picks, let them fly. But yeah, otherwise, anything to wrap up us here on this Friday?
Uh, no, not much. Just again, super happy. I mean, I feel like every single outro we have recently is the same thing. I've just been super happy with everything. Oh, we got a basketball commit. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, Chase
20,
Branham,
20 Chase Branham, 2020 class 2027.
not related to the Hawkeye.
For and not related to a bunch of the other famous Branhams out there, but from Missouri, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah, Missouri
I think
boy, OG Ananobi, Stomping
he's
grounds.
from yeah, but he's from the middle of
Yeah,
nowhere,
yeah, yeah,
Missouri.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but really, he came in second or was an honorable mention player for the Steph Curry camp.
Here we go. I like that.
Um, so I mean, a very, very promising young guard, right? And so,
Yeah.
um, very, very excited to see him in a Hoosier uniform.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's why we had this, final thought thing, just in case there's nothing we did, we nothing, if in case there's something we didn't touch on. I'm gonna go and just throw a couple of these other ones out here. I don't have a pick, but I'm really excited to watch USC Illinois, right? Just for narrative, schedule, discourse reasons. Looking forward to that. It's a big game for USC too. Everyone's crowning USC already with this 4-0 start. Like, wow, what an accomplishment. As Matt said with Ohio State. USC hasn't beaten anybody. And yet for some reason they're getting a lot of praise and premature crowning. Unless they go to Illinois and win by 20, in which case I'll be very impressed. Um, I'm going to say that Georgia covers the 3 at home against Alabama.
Okay.
If you can find a 2.5, try to jump on that. Um, but 2.5, 3, I don't really care. Um, I feel like Tennessee should cover 7.5 at Mississippi State. I don't know. There's a weird vibe around Tennessee that I'm not quite getting. I guess I'm giving them credit for probably putting themselves in a position to beat Georgia.
Yeah,
I know Cowbell
they
Nation's
should have
not
beat Georgia.
easy, but you know, I think it should be there. Then I'm also taking BYU to cover 7. Try to find a 6.5 if you can, but that's the after dark game at Colorado. Um,
Mm,
I would take BYU in a heartbeat there. 6.5, 7. Notre Dame, Arkansas is going to be weird. That's a weird one. That's really
yeah.
messed up. That is really messed up. Um, no, not many other upsets that popping out to me. So I'm in perfect position to get caught off guard as much as possible on Saturday. Perfect. I don't have anything else. I mean, it should be a fun game. I just think, my main sentence from this matchup for Saturday is Indiana's playing the situation, the environment, the atmosphere, the intangible aspect of the game more than they're playing the Iowa Hawkeyes, the players on the other team. It's like, can you navigate
Mm,
the crowd noise? Can you navigate the flags? Can you navigate the missed call by the refs that makes the game harder to win? Because when you go on the road, more calls go against you. It's just the science of it, just the math of it. Can you just navigate some of that stuff?
right.
The Hawkeyes themselves. If you drafted the top 10 players to play backyard football across these two teams, I think 8 of them are Hoosiers. You might take a
Mm,
lineman or two from Iowa, you might take one or two of the other defensive players on Iowa, but like if you're playing backyard football, especially backyard football, it doesn't require trenches.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, it's like, or if you're playing in a COVID environment where there's no fans in the stands. I mean, I think 8 of the 10 best players in this game are on Indiana, but they're going to be, what is it, 80,000, I think, 75, 80,000 at Kinnick. So
Something like that.
you gotta, you gotta play your best. So you gotta beat the environment, you gotta beat the atmosphere, just as much as you gotta beat Iowa. But folks, that about wraps it up for our 352nd show of the Hoosier Sound. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your support. To hear more fantastic episodes like the one you heard today, be sure to follow us at Indiana HQ or at the Hoosier Sound to make sure you don't miss any in the future. You can also go to our website, indianahq.com, to find it all in one place. But as always, thank you for listening, Hoosier Nation, and we'll see you next time.
Peace and love, go Hoosiers.